Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So as a forewarning, the camera quality on this video might not be the greatest because I'm currently walking the dog. But I wanted to film while it's taking a break from raining to kind of use this time to vent a little bit about our homestead. So building this place out has been pretty much nothing but a constant struggle and challenge after challenge after challenge. And it honestly keeps feeling like our backs are up against the wall. So right now, what I'm kind of stressed out about and kind of frustrated with is the issue with our septic tank. So last year we had to get it inspected. Once we were owning this place for 3 months, we had to get an inspection done because the house had been vacant for several years. So the nice thing about that, even though it did fail, is that because we had owned it already, we were living here already, we were able to apply for a grant that then paid completely for us to get a new septic system. Now, that is great, that's grand, that's wonderful. However, it is taking forever to get the septic system installed, which, it's not that huge of a deal. It's not like there's sewage like running through our yard or anything disgusting. It failed right at the ditch. So, it's kind of like, it was, I think, like a minute left in the test when it failed. So, it's really not that bad. But the hard part about it is the fact that where they want to move the septic to is not a good spot in terms of how we designed our homestead. When it failed, we had anticipated and had mentally planned on and plotted our homestead around that they were probably just going to put the septic tank in the exact same spot as where it originally was. We were really wrong. Actually, where they want to put it now is, there's talk of it potentially doing a different type of system because the water table here is so high. She said they'd have to actually either do a system with a pump and an aerator, which I really don't want to do that because that's going to be a constant noise, and I already struggle with it being noisy. Which granted, a lot of the noise is our own animals, but still. So that system I don't really want to do, but she did talk about putting in that our land would be suitable for a system that basically was like a big, huge mound thing that would go, come on Roscoe, that would go on top of the earth, and it'd be like 88 feet long or something of the sort like that, and I think like 10 or 15 feet wide, which is really big, especially when we only have about 3/4 of an acre that is cleared and actually gets sun. And where she said that they would potentially be putting it actually is partially through where the garden is at. So that has been very frustrating and kind of a struggle because we've sort of plotted everything around that the septic would go where the original one went. Roscoe, come on. Let's go this way, bud. I'm walking our new rescue dog. I'll show you guys him. That is Roscoe. Huh, Roscoe? You want to say hi? So he's very jumpy, but he's been doing very, very good being with us. So anyways, so the mound that they want to do actually is going to take up part of the area where the garden's at. We're going to have to move that old camper, which that was never in the plans for it to stay there. The only reason it was actually there is because my mom's van, when she towed it here, actually got stuck in the yard. So that's been something that we've been wanting to move for a while now, just really haven't made it a priority because it wasn't a big deal. But we also potentially are going to have to move the tan, it's one of them Shelter Logic shed things, so it's like a canvas shed type thing, which is a big shed. I think it's a 10 by 20, so it's going to be a pretty big undertaking to try to get that moved. We might have to completely disassemble it, which that is where we store all of our hay. That's also where we store our firewood. So it's kind of a big deal that's going to have to get moved. The other things that are going to have to get moved is our male goat Wilbur and his companion Ferdinand. Their pasture area is going to have to get moved some. Hopefully it'll just have to get shrunk down a little bit. And then the other big thing is the duck, the mobile, thank God it's mobile, duck and goose hut that I had built, that's going to have to get moved. Their paddock is going to have to get moved. The hut is going to have to get moved, and it's probably going to have to be a permanent move. So basically, our entire homestead plot and design has been blown up into a million different pieces, and we still don't know if that's for sure where it's going, which is really frustrating because if we knew for sure that that's where it's going, it wouldn't be that hard of a deal to, have somebody come out with a tractor or whatever, or use a big truck to move all of the stuff. However, she said there's still like a small percentage chance that the septic might just go back to where it was originally, which would be great, except for then the side of the garden that is doing really well is going to get destroyed. So it's kind of like we can't win for trying, and it's very frustrating. Roscoe, we're not going to go up that way. There's not a path that way, bud. I know it smells interesting, but we're not going that way. We can go this way. We can go down the path further. Come on. But so that's been incredibly frustrating to deal with, because it's literally, as you guys know from following for any length of time, it seems like literally every single project that gets done on this property has some sort of big kicker, big plot twist to serve as basically a massive learning experience for me and for Tracy. So it's kind of just been like one of those things where you think everything's going to go according to plan, think it's going to go easy, and then it's like, plot twist, plot twist, plot twist, plot twist. And it kind of gets a little frustrating. It gets a little bit old dealing with, nothing but problem after problem after problem, which, granted, there we go. Granted, I am a bit of a problem solver type of person. I enjoy fixing things and working on things, but it really gets frustrating when literally every job turns into 10 or 15 other jobs. Especially because this year I've really spent a big focus on trying to get things in the yard done up and completed and done up nicely. So in that way it was kind of like doing landscaping projects and planting things and doing things like that. So in that way they were good, done, and settled in for, all of eternity, for as long as we live here or whatever, and stuff, that I wouldn't have to worry about them anymore. Because I was excited this year with the garden. I was like, man, this is great. Like, I've already got it started. I've already got it established. We've already spent a whole year here, so we can then, hold on, Roscoe, quit pulling. So then we can, just sort of plug and plant things and get things in and get things going. And, second year gardens are always way better than first year gardens. And I was really super jazzed about it until I realized that I'm probably going to have to start another first year garden next year. So that's frustrating, because that lady was really eyeballing the garden for, a potential spot that would be a fantastic place to go. And, granted, I do live in a rural county, so they do understand, the people that work for the county and stuff like that, they do understand that, homesteading and farming is a very big way of life for people out this way. But it's still, that's like the perfect place for them to put a septic tank, is literally right where the garden's at. So that's kind of a bit concerning, because I have no idea what's going on. And because we're dealing with the grant situation, we're kind of at the mercy of what the grant people do, what the county does, what the health department does and stuff, which, to an extent we already are at the mercy of them because of, having to get new septic in. But yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very hard for me to be all like excited about what the garden's going to look like next year, because chances are it's going to be torn apart and it's going to be moved and it's going to be different, and it's just kind of frustrating. It's just one of those things that's been very frustrating and weighing very heavily on me, of how every time that I try to move forward with this land here, it's almost like I get pushed 10 steps back. So it's been hard, it's been frustrating, and it's been difficult to deal with. But on a positive note, we did have the Amish roofer guy that came out and did our roof last year. He did come out last week to take measurements of the barn to give us a quote for doing the barn roof. And he also did look at that little shed that I had filmed about before that was, filled up with a bunch of nasty stuff from previous owners and in really bad shape. He did tell us that it's probably going to be more cost effective to either buy a new shed or for him to build a building than it would be for us to try to repair that shed. So one nice thing is that we might get some storage options for outside stuff, so that way we don't have junk piles laying everywhere, because there simply is no place to put anything. So it's just kind of, I guess this is all just coming to a head, and I'm getting really frustrated with feeling like my hands are tied up constantly. And, I jokingly say that while I have my dog's leash around my wrist. But it's kind of getting frustrating to keep dealing with things like this that just feel almost as if we're going backwards again and again and again and restarting over and over again, because I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep feeling like I'm restarting and restarting and restarting. I want to just be able to move forward and continue to move forward and to just grow in an organic way and stuff, not just, chemical free, but, a natural way. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for letting me vent. I do feel a little bit better getting that off of my chest. Plus, spending time with nature and hanging out with Roscoe some more always is nice, especially on a day like today where it's going to be raining pretty much the entire day, and I have a bunch of work in the kitchen to get done because tomorrow's a market day, so I have to bake the bread. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.